The character of this whole corridor, the Gateway 1 corridor, is the essence of life in Maine and what people picture. And that's why people want to come here. They want to see the picturesque scenes, the New England communities, and what's nice here is there's a string of them. The report goes into some aspects, it's like a string of pearls.
Everybody has to drive on Route 1, as well as the big semis.
Route 1 is a public resource. It serves a lot of people, a lot of communities.
It's the spine of commerce. It's the spine of commerce. It is.
The 5 key things that Reny's needs to really address and always pay attention to are completely aligned with what Gateway 1's Corridor Action Plan is trying to do, and that is ease of access.
When I was a boy, Dad used to drive me from the Boston area to Blue Hill, Maine. We used to drive along Route 1, and in those days the road wound through little small towns, and some of that has been bypassed. We'd like not to see it happen to any more communities. We'd like to just keep it the way it is.
The more development is strung out along the highway, the more pressure there is on Maine DOT to introduce bypass options, which are hugely controversial, hugely disruptive, hugely expensive.
What Bath does to Route 1 affects people up and down the corridor. What Rockland and Belfast, what they do with their land uses on Route 1 affect all the other communities. And if we don't work together, there are going to be good stretches of Route 1 in 30 years, and there are going to be some very bad stretches of Route 1.
We want to grow, but we want to manage our growth so that we're not overwhelmed by what has happened in some of the towns further south of us.
Instead of Maine DOT deciding what the answer was, instead we rolled way back and we said, okay, what is the problem from your perspective, towns? We said, we're going to listen to you.
It's really common for a business owner in a nice, clustered location like Main Street just to focus on getting that customer in the door. Our customer numbers are down, and I do think that has to do with how we're handling growth.
The planning process that we undertook, which was very different because it put land use at the top instead of transportation at the top.
A lot of us have learned that what's good for the corridor actually really benefits our town. And that's not to dismiss our own town's specific needs, it's that we actually have a better chance of getting our specific needs met by having something that works well for the whole corridor. This process of creating the plan has been one of the most wonderful examples of how democracy works in the 21st century.
The planning process was led by the communities. We brought the money, we brought the consultants, the experts, and we then sat back. We didn't even vote. We allowed the communities to decide how they wanted to direct their future as a region. That was a very different approach.
The Gateway 1 plan will help the community in the future to put together alternate routes for local traffic and to have some extra funding to do some planning and feasibility study.
Gateway 1 allows us to address the transformation of Rockland into a destination, and a service destination, a cultural destination, a tourist destination, commercial destination. All of those things are vital to Rockland's future.
All of those things are what the Corridor Action Plan are really prioritizing, and I have to say they are completely parallel to our business plan. If that's not an economic driver for the state of Maine, I don't know what is.
Communities are expected to do a better job with land use planning along the corridor, and if they do that, they're going to see an easier route to DOT funding. I think the whole process is a model. Success isn't going to be measured for a whole bunch of years, but I do think that the planning process and the plan that came out of that process is probably really cutting edge and ought to be thought of as a model.